Welcome back, everyone. Today, it's cold out. It's like 1 degree here in Iowa. And we're working outside. Stay tuned and I'll show you what we're doing. Yeah, you might have guessed it. We got a used rear end for this busted ass Tahoe. So this is, I believe this is an 01 Tahoe. And the pinion is smooth on this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get this rear end swapped out. And I'll tell you, this brake line is toast. So I'm actually gonna remove that one and put the one that's on the vehicle on this rear end. I don't feel like running new lines. I don't feel like opening the brakes. So we're just literally swapping it all over. I'm gonna have to swap over all the brake hardware from the old one to this one. So we're gonna get all that done, and yeah, looks like a whole lot of fun. Wish this thing was in nicer shape, but it's not. But we're not gonna waste time cleaning it up. We're gonna swap the fluid out, and yeah, that's about it. All right, so we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and so we're gonna pull that top cover bolt off so we can get that distribution block off, and then we're gonna pull that one off right there. And then there's one on this side too, and I believe those are all 13 mil. So I'm gonna go grab the Ugga Dugga King and be right back. Okay, got the brake line off. The fill is right there. It's literally just a 3/8 ratchet head. Got jack stands underneath it. So we're gonna take those wheels off each side and start disassembling stuff. Okay. So here we are. So we're gonna unhook the shock from the axle. We're gonna unhook the upper control arm, lower control arm, and then the entire brake system. Okay, we're gonna do that on each side. And the drive shaft. Can't forget the drive shaft. And any, I think this might actually not have. It doesn't look like this has rear ABS, so we don't have to worry about that. But we're gonna go through and we're gonna spray all these with some PB Blaster because, well, I don't want to work harder. I want to work smarter. And I've sprayed everything on here with PB Blaster as well. So hopefully this goes smooth. All right, so I'm going to work on this and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with the drive shaft. Those are 7/16 most of the time on these GMs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got that off. It's kind of hanging down there now. So got to do the panhard bar also. I forgot about, and the sway bar end links, and then the e-brake cables too. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the panhard bar and these end links. Then I'm going to go to the lower shock mounts, and kind of progress from there. And then the last thing I'll take off is the brake system. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all these bolts off and start getting this thing the hell out of here. I will be right back. Okay, normally I would be trying to save these e-brake stuff, but the customer doesn't want to pay to have that reinstalled. Obviously none of it's on this new axle, and he doesn't want to pay for it. And well, this whole setup is trash. So, and this goes if you're saving it too. Right there's your e-brake cable. If you take a pry bar and put it next to that the end fitting where it kind of slides into the e-brake, you can actually pry it out of there without hurting anything. That's the easiest way I've ever figured out how to take those out without, you know, spring compressors on the spring itself there, you know. That's the best way I figured it out if you have minimal tools, which not a big deal. I'm going to do it the right way, but I just wanted to show you guys, or explain it to you anyway. So I'm going to get pulling these brakes off. I figured it was easier to pull the brakes off first to get to this upper control arm. So I'm going to finish this. I'll be right back. This out, you're literally fighting this pretty strong spring, but there's two clips right there on these. You push those in and then you just pull this guy out from this side, and then there's a notch. Once you get it so far, you can just pull it the rest of the way out. So I'm going to go ahead and get these off, and this shock bolt, and then I'm going to get that panhard bar, and then we'll come back and get the lower control arms, and then we'll pull all these 13 mils off on the brake line. Okay, at this point, all I have left are the two lower control arms and the springs, and those just kind of fall out. So I have zip tied up the brake system in 3 spots. Each caliper to the upper control arm, and then the center distribution block up there. So I got to do the 2 lower control arm bolts, and I believe that's everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get those, and I got the vent tube on the pumpkin also. So I'm going to go ahead and get that, and I'll be right back. One thing to keep in mind, normally I would be drinking healthy, you know, something with alcohol in it. But I've been working from home for the past week, and well, I can have margaritas while I work. So yeah, I'm gonna just drink some this stuff. It's actually pretty good. So we're almost there. I'll be right back. Alright, so there it is. I've been fiddle farting around, and it took me an hour to get this thing out of there. So I'm not going to video a whole lot of the putting it back in, but we're essentially going to do the reverse, removing it. So I'm going to start with the lower control arms. I'm going to get those on there, and then get it up a little bit and get the springs put back on. Springs are super easy to put in there. They just kind of sit. We got nice little spring pockets, so we don't really have to worry too much about that. Other than that, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the brake lines back on it, and then do the upper control arms, the tie rod end, or not tie rod ends, the sway bar end links, and panhard bar. The last thing I'm going to do is the sorry, you're looking at my chin. Last thing I'll do is the drive shaft, and then we'll start it and see if it works. Cross fingers. Everything spins on the rear end, so hopefully it should be good. I did change the fluid, so we'll see what happens. I put Royal Purple Synthetic in there, and then some of the Posi additive. So we'll see what happens. But I will get working on this, and I'll be back. Okay, so I did swap over what e-brake stuff was there, and got that hooked back up. Pain in the ass, by the way. But here we are. We're working on these guys. That's pretty dry. So there is special grease out there, and someone has called me out before, but frankly, fuck that guy. I hate the actual grease for that stuff, So I use Red and Tacky Lucas grease. It seems to actually last a while. The grease that that is specifically made for these slides, it sucks. It's good for a few thousand miles, and then it gels up and it's worthless. So I just use Red and Tacky. So when you do grease those, just pull them out, put some grease on the end, and then slide them back in. Make sure and clean the old stuff off. It sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and put this side back together, and I'll be right back. So we got it done. Yay! It's going to be out of the driveway. It's got a whole bunch of other issues, but it drives. That's all we care about. That's all we were paid to do. So, but yeah. Sorry I didn't video more of it going back together, but same thing as tearing it apart. So, like, subscribe, comment, share us, belittle me. Yeah, I don't care. Share us. Deuces.